More deals coming together as a deadline set by Fulton County's district attorney gets closer. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick Fulbaum.
I'm Sean Gables. Several bond agreements just reached within the past few hours. People indicted alongside former President Donald Trump for allegedly interfering with Georgia's 2020 presidential election results. The list is currently at 12. These are some of the people recently added to that list. Cathleen Latham, a Republican Coffee County official, and Michael Roman, a former White House aide. We have the full list on the Atlanta News First app.
Well, the former president is still expected to turn himself in this Thursday at the Fulton County Jail. No official word on exactly what time of day that will happen. The Fulton County Sheriff says the jail is a 24/7 facility, so it could happen while we're all sleeping. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon begins tonight's team coverage.
Doug, this Friday at noon is the deadline for defendants to turn themselves in.
Right, things moved quite quickly today. We had 2 defendants turn themselves in here at the jail this morning, and several others signed bond agreements, which means they will soon be here to turn themselves in as well. After emerging from the Fulton County Jail on Tuesday, John Eastman, a former attorney for former President Donald Trump, had very few words for the cameras waiting for him.
I'm here today to surrender to an indictment that should never have been brought.
Eastman was the second of 19 defendants to turn himself in ahead of a noon deadline on Friday. Scott Hall, a bail bondsman accused of illegally hacking into Coffee County election machines, came and went just minutes before Eastman. The highest profile defendant, former President Trump himself, won't be booked at the jail until Thursday. His bond set at $200,000. Eastman, who's accused of scheming to have false electors cast electoral votes for Trump after his Georgia loss in 2020, railed against the indictments on Tuesday.
It targets attorneys for their zealous advocacy on behalf of their clients, something attorneys are ethically bound to provide, and which was attempted here by formally challenging the results of the election through lawful and appropriate means.
And when asked if he still thought the election was stolen, Eastman replied,
Absolutely.
Most charged in the case will easily be able to pay their bond, but some lower-profile defendants have now taken to internet fundraising to help them raise their bail. Defendant Jenna Ellis, an attorney accused of pushing election falsehoods in 2020, asked on Twitter, "Why isn't MAGA Inc. funding everyone's defense?" And this will be the first of his 4 legal cases where the former president actually has to pay a bail. Campaign finance records show that much of his fundraising money has gone to paying his legal bills. We're outside the Fulton County Jail. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
And this afternoon,